What it do? What it do?
What it do? Happy pre-Thanksgiving.
Yes, same to you. Same to you. I don't
All
know
right,
why it feels different now.
cause you in the hot seat.
Oh,
Yeah, you are on my territory now.
yes, yes, yes. And I am truly appreciative of this opportunity.
I mean, look, Keith, you're doing a lot for the community, even if you don't think that you are. Being black is doing a lot. Being a black male is doing a lot, and highlighting these black authors is doing a lot. So, whether you see it or not, you're doing it. You
I
know.
appreciate that.
So, on that note, let me take this shot real quick because it's been a long day. It's been a long motherfucking day. All right. So let me get into your intro, and we're gonna get into these questions. You
All right,
ready?
all right. I'm ready. I'm ready.
All
As
right.
ready as I'm gonna be.
So tonight on Black Girl Tired Podcast, Black Girl Tired Book Talk Podcast, we are tapping into a lane we don't get to spotlight nearly enough: the brilliance and presence of black men in the literary community. Our guest Keith is part of the new wave of black male book content creators, disrupting the quiet stereotypes that say men don't read, especially that black men don't read. Keith didn't start in books. He has always been in fitness. That means discipline and transformation. But somewhere between reps and routine, he picked up a novel, found a world he didn't want to leave, and decided that storytelling deserves the same passion and physical strength did. In a community saturated with book lovers but noticeably light on black male voices, Keith stands out not just for reading, but for showing that black men are intellectual, emotional, curious, critical thinkers, and deeply present in these bookish streets. He is building visibility, community, and a lane where more black men can step into literature unafraid, unapologetic, and unbothered by outdated narratives. Keith is proof that the pen, the page, and the platform belongs to all of us.
Mic drop. Boom. Interview over. Thank you, everyone. That was wonderful. I don't need to say anything else. That was enough right there.
It's true. It's true. It is
Oh, that was
true.
wonderful. That was
You
wonderful.
are
I appreciate
welcome.
that.
You are welcome. So let's get into these questions. Your background is fitness. Did you
Yes.
start?
Well, not really. I actually started out in technology. I was a systems engineer for about almost 15, 16 years.
Brittany, then why the
And
fuck you asking me for a game when he was in tech? The fuck?
and I pivoted from that into fitness. And
Mm-hmm.
to give you a little background on that, it's a kind of dear to my heart on why I pivoted from that. It was when my grandmother had passed, and
Mm-hmm.
after she passed, we were sitting around and we were basically talking about her life and how she didn't really have any regrets.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat and took a long, long time evaluating my life at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that I had some regrets. And one of them was being stuck in corporate America.
Okay.
And knowing I had a bigger purpose in my life, I had to figure out what was my passion. And at
Mm-hmm.
the time, I was coaching and working with my son and playing semi pro football and things like that. So at that point, I pivoted into training and fitness because I was sending my son to a trainer. And I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking, like, he says we work harder in the yard. Like, why are you paying this guy when we could be doing this at home? And that's when I had the epiphany to pivot over to fitness.
So how did you transition from reps and protein shakes to paper and plots? What did books give you that fitness didn't?
Um, like most men, I started with nonfiction and
Mhm.
self help and books
Please
like
don't
that.
say the 48 Pounds of, oh,
No, no,
God.
no, 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 no,
Or
no,
Rich
no, no, no,
Man,
no.
Poor Dad.
No, mine were more like how to win friends and
Mm-hmm.
influence people,
Mm-hmm.
the atomic habits,
Mm-hmm.
the power of one,
Mm-hmm.
as a man
Oh,
thinketh,
okay, okay.
the art of war
That is
was
my favorite fucking book. I
was
have
another
about
one.
3 copies.
But the ultimate book that changed my perspective was The Alchemist. That is
Ooh.
my favorite book.
Ooh, I like The Alchemist. So, was there. Okay, how can I say this?
What's up, everybody?
So, what made you say that you wanted to talk about this online? Was there a specific moment where you said, I needed to talk about these books online, whether I'm comfortable with it or not?
Um, yeah, I mean, first I had started getting deeper into reading novels and
Mm,
not fiction. And I realized when I started reading fiction, I started getting a lot more out of fiction than I was getting out of nonfiction.
mm,
So at that point, I started to try to seek out recommendations, and I
mhm,
found Book Talk, and I found YouTube, and a lot of creators and people that were reading were on YouTube and Book Talk. So at that point, that's when I started just kind of watching reviews and watching things, and I noticed there were a lot of women,
mhm,
and there were a lot of black women and women of other persuasions, but I didn't notice a lot of guys.
mhm,
And then when I did notice the guys, I noticed that they were also talking about a lot of nonfiction or a lot of fantasy or a lot of, let me not say urban books or books
mhm,
that were of black descent or black authors or things
mhm,
like that. They were going with more of the popular books or the books that were mainstream. And
mhm,
I admit that's kind of where I started because, I mean, when you're looking for information, that's what was out there at first. So once I started dipping, going more with the independent authors and things like that, I noticed there was a void. There were no black males. There were
mhm.
some black males, but and I just didn't notice anyone that had a voice like mine. So I felt like I had to approach it from a different perspective and
Mhm.
come in and just let my voice be heard. I never really, well, I was a little shy about coming out, but you know how I feel like reading those books like The Alchemist, when opportunity is at your door, you
Mhm.
have to pay attention to it. I mean, or falter. And when
Mhm.
something is pushing and nagging at you, or you keep having this dream over and over and over, it's like, why are you not walking in your purpose? Like, just step
Exactly.
out there. If it doesn't work out, oh well, this is not my day job. I'm a trainer by
Yeah.
day.
So I'm finna dive deep into some harder questions. So brace yourself. This is about to be a little bumpy ride. But I'm gonna
Okay.
start talking about black males in the bookish space.
Okay.
Um, the book community has many content creators, but very few are black men. Um, what has the experience been like for you? Like, do you feel seen or do you feel invisible?
Um, Honestly, I definitely can say I feel seen. The small amount of time that I have been out there, it has been a wonderful experience. I've met a great community of people. And when I hear people talk about the dark side of it, I haven't been privy to that yet.
Mm,
That really hasn't been my experience so
count your
far. I mean,
blessings.
I know it's coming because, but the thing about it is, honestly, I lead with love. So I mean, let the
Yeah,
haters hate. Let the haters
yeah,
hate. I mean, this is going to bring more followers to my page and more people, so I can let my platform be known, because that's not going to deter me or stop me. I mean, haters are going to hate. I mean, it's the same thing in the training game. You have other trainers that say, hey, he don't know what he's doing, or
yeah,
he doesn't know what he's talking about, or does he know fitness, or why
yeah.
didn't he tell you this? So I mean, it's people are going to do that.
So
You
let me
just have to
ask you,
understand that.
why do you think society struggles to imagine black men as readers, thinkers, or literary voices? Like, What's the myth you actively are trying to dismantle?
That that you can't put us in a box.
Mm-hmm.
That we are more than one dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
That we are powerful, we are strong, we have a voice, and we're going to voice that. And I feel that realizing that you don't know anything in order to continue to learn and grow is going to
Mm-hmm.
be the key factor for Black men to understand going forward. More Black men need to step down off of their pedestal and feel that they are almighty when you need support and you need women.
Mm-hmm.
As the saying goes, you're only as strong as the woman that's standing behind you. And you're only as strong as the woman that you can support and show her that she is just as important to you as she is to anything else. And I don't mean stand behind you, I mean more stand beside you or even lead if you need to.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of Black women that are leading,
Mm-hmm.
and more men need to be able to support them and give them the flowers that they need as well.
I think ego plays a part when it comes to men. Ego plays a part in humanity, but I just feel
Yes.
like ego plays a part when it comes to men because, especially black men, because they have that generational trauma from slavery, the bucking, and all that other stuff. So it's like I'm always trying to prove my manhood. Even
Yes.
when you're trying to prove your manhood, you're proving how weak you are. So I think the perspective of black men in general needs to pivot. Is this is not everyone. This is just the ones that are very loud. The red pill guys. They are
Okay.
very
I
loud.
agree.
So I feel like they are still dealing with their own trauma. So when they come online and they talk about books, is the books are not focused on black people in general. They're
Mm-hmm.
focused on domination of black women or domination of
Mm.
women, domination of children. They want the power and recognition that white creators get, but using black people as a drag. You see what I'm saying?
I totally see exactly what you're saying, and I feel that a lot of times when you're confronted with representation in your face,
Mm-hmm.
and like you said, you can't deal with your own personal traumas, you
Mm-hmm.
tend to try to run from that and
Mm-hmm.
try to make excuses on why that shouldn't be the norm or why well let me not say shouldn't be the norm, why that is something you want to try to be away from or try not to represent or try not to show. I mean, my thing is, as I said before, I realized I wasn't the type of person to want to sit at somebody else's table.
Facts.
So I went and built my own.
Facts.
And more of us need to learn to build our own, even if we have to still use them at the same time or be in their same environment. Let's just say, okay, you keep your table there, I'm gonna keep my table here, but we can still work together. I'll share my table because you don't want to share yours,
Yeah.
but know that this is my table. And
It's
and
Van Lathan said something really, really pivotal, I think. And I think it coincides with the black bookish space. It is necessary to have black spaces in literary and events.
mm,
Is necessary to have black spaces in tech because they are not giving us options. So we have to
correct.
make our options. It's an ongoing cycle from if you go back to the Nate Turner rebellion all the way to the civil rights, it has always been we have to fight to make a way, but it's the longevity that is the problem. The longevity is wrapped in um that crab in a barrel mentality that really doesn't
Mm,
exist.
correct.
And unfortunately, if one sees the other doing better, there's a problem. They had to
Correct.
do something to get something without having talent. you sound just like the people that don't want us to be in those spaces.
Correct. I totally agree with you 110%, because what I found is when I was still living in the Midwest, and I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. When I was in
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City, Missouri, and like you said, with the tech space, I was a lot of times the only black person in that space.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did come to the Atlanta area and I had a black supervisor
Mm-hmm.
or 10 or 12 black coworkers, I finally felt like I was home,
Mm-hmm.
someone that could relate to my plight. So it was big on me, like you said, with the representation and being able to share my experiences with people that had similar experiences is a
Mm-hmm.
wonderful thing. And I agree with you also with what you were saying with trauma. And I feel like if more men read more black novels
Mm-hmm.
and black books by independent authors, they will be able to live out their traumas throughout those novels, because a lot of these authors have trauma and a lot of these experiences in their books. So to be able to have that as an outlet is something that I feel is a must. More black men need to get into
Mm-hmm.
and represent and look at more independent black authors instead of running from the problem. Let's go ahead first and figure out why we're having that problem.
I think so many black men who read, they are automatically assuming because it has romance in it, it's nothing but sex.
No, no,
But
no. Take notes, men. Men,
so
men. Hey, y'all better pick
I,
up these romances and take notes. If it,
I was gonna say that a lot of them have not experienced true romance. They have not experienced women who can woo them as much as they woo the woman. But a
mm,
lot of times men don't even know what romance means exactly, except for let me buy her this, let me throw her a little money. They
mm,
don't understand when a woman says, if you can fuck me mentally, you got me. You
hey,
got me. All that extra stuff is just, just a little extra stuff. But if you can mentally stimulate me, everything falls into line. And I think a lot of times men who think of romance think of it like it's a competition.
nah, I'm gonna be real with you. Only for the week. I'm trying to get to old boy status where I can rent a yacht, and we about to go sit on this yacht, and we both gonna read a book together.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to that. When I get there, trust me, everybody gonna hear about it. It's gonna be live. I'm gonna be, look what
But
I
that
just did.
but that's the truth. Women and men deserve to be in a soft area. I know women be like, I'm in my soft girl area, era, but so do men need to be in their
Yes,
soft man era
and we need to
because
be more emotional. We need to show more emotions. But
exactly
before
that's
we show more emotions, I'm gonna say this, black women. I'm gonna say this. Please do not put us on threads. Do not be making memes, because seeing when Tyrese broke down about his daughter, and
mm-hmm.
5 minutes later there were tens and twenties of memes and people were talking about that man, I felt bad for him because he couldn't show his emotion. I'm glad he's still doing it and he's still crying on the internet, because men need to see that. We need to not be bottling this stuff in, because that's how we get prostate cancer.
But the who were the most people making fun of him? Men.
I believe that. I believe that as
And the
well.
women who were making fun of him are not in touch with their soft girl era in the first place. So I honestly, that's like those who talk about Russell Wilson.
Mm,
That man is being a man. He is
yes.
leading his household. I'm not Christian, but he's leading his household in his religion, his faith, and treating his wife as a partner, but at the same time treating her like a queen.
Letting her lead,
Yeah.
and there's
So,
no shame about it. I love it, and he has
and
no shame about it. I love it.
and yeah, Clay too. Clay Thompson. Clay is letting Megan be Megan, but and not trying to change her, but giving her a place that she finds peace. You know what I'm saying? Not
Yeah,
a lot of women find that, but if you read a book, if you read a good, even an urban fiction street lit, if
yeah.
you read a book and you get
Don't
in
forget
that book,
Obama. Obama let Michelle be on Michelle
yeah,
now.
if you read a book, if more black men read books, they would see what we want. They would see what we
Yeah,
want. And this also goes to young black men.
Yeah,
Why
find out what
a
your girl's reading. Find out what your
yes?
girl is reading and go take some notes. Go
So
take
let
some notes.
let me. What's one thing the book community gets right about bookish spaces, and one thing you wish you could change?
How creators attack authors.
Elaborate.
I feel like we don't respect the art enough as
Mm,
creators because writing a book is an art. It is
mm,
truly an art. And I don't see why more people don't respect it. If you had the time and imagination to go and create a story, then go do it. But
mm.
if you don't, I'm just sorry. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion, but there is a problem with being disrespectful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there are books that I have not liked, and I will not post a review about those books. Will I go to their page, or will I go to Amazon, or will I go to Reddit or any of those other sites and voice my opinion? Yes, but I would never post a video about a book that I did not enjoy.
Yeah,
I just feel it's disrespectful.
it is. It is. I just made a comment about someone who said something about E. Bowser's book. And y'all know I'll call somebody out by name because I don't care. What you gonna do? Beat my ass? Good luck. Um, she made a comment and said that she did not like the fact that E. Bowser had too much sex in her book. She didn't like the fact that it was too many POVs in the book. Now, my thing was, it's not her opinion; it's what she did. She then says, if you want better books who write in the same genre, X, Y, and Z author writes better books than this author. And then my question, and if y'all saw my post earlier, this is why I said what I said. E. Bowser, in the beginning of every one of her books, she says this is a urban erotica. Erotica can sometimes have plot, or sometimes just have smut, or it can have a little bit of both. Then she also puts in there it has multiple POVs.
Okay, I'm
So
glad.
that in itself led me to believe that it was a viral moment for her to say. Not only by her saying that about E. Bowser, she hurt E. Bowser's feelings because E. Bowser felt like she wasn't doing enough. When she
See, and
literally gave you E. Bowser give you 4 pages of trigger warnings. Four pages of trigger warnings. And yet this person took it upon themselves. I can't even remember her name. I have to go back and find this girl name. But she like literally hurt E. Bowser today, and I was just so upset. This is what I mean by, if you're gonna say stuff about authors in the book community, make sure you have your facts and not trying to do a viral moment, because that was her doing a viral moment. And the same people that was in those comments were the same people that be sitting here talking about, E, I love your book. I
see, and
peeped
that's
it.
that's
I peeped
that
it.
bothers me. That bothers me because my thing is this: if there's no authors, you have no books. With no books, you have no content.
Yo, it's getting out of control. It's getting out of control. But I just felt bad because E is such a nice individual. She is one of those authors that will give you the shirt off her back, and she never talks derogatory about anyone. Not creators that talk shit about her, not authors that talk shit about her, not even white authors that say that she tried to steal their work and she didn't.
Mm.
She's never said a bad thing. And that's why I say you never know who you're talking about, because you can stop them from writing their like the next bestseller.
And
You
you
know what
never
I'm
know
saying?
what that person's going through at the moment you make that comment. Because they could be actually going through some mental things or some problems or things like that. And that comment is what took them over the edge to say, you know what, forget it.
I know I can't be Captain Saberho of the book community or nothing, but sometimes y'all be going too far with that shit. So, next question is, as a black male creator, how do you show up without leaning into misogyny or misogynoir, especially when reviewing books with female characters?
I thank my mom and my sister and my grandmother and all the women in my life that have led me and guided me throughout my life and have shown me true love and what love truly is, because they didn't have to do that. And I
Mm-hmm.
think once you realize what love is, um, that takes the misogyny out of it, because you lead with your heart versus with your ego and your emotions. And I
Mm-hmm.
think when you lead with your heart, that's when you find out what the true value of something is.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. There's often a narrative that black men aren't intellectual or don't enjoy reading unless it's tied to trauma, money, or masculinity. How do you challenge those stereotypes simply by existing?
Well, I can't say I don't like money.
I nobody can't say they don't like money.
I cannot say that I don't like showing my masculinity and showing that I am a true man. But I think also showing that you're a true man is also being able to show your vulnerabilities as well.
Mm,
So I feel like being vulnerable would probably be the best way to show that
mm-hmm. Okay.
vulnerability.
Do you feel pressure to represent a certain type of reader, or do you read whatever you want and let the chips fall where they may?
I started out with reading a certain author, and one of those authors were Walter Mosley.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned I had to expand and if I wanted to grow. So at that point, then I only seeked out black authors.
Mm-hmm.
And that was about midway through my journey, because like I said, I started reading all the popular books,
Mm-hmm.
and the popular books were fine
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoyed a lot of them, but I missed the representation. Now, I did
Mm-hmm.
also start out with Donald Goings and I started out with Zane and everything like that. But that was also like when I was a teenager and things like that. So when I got back into reading, as I said, it was with nonfiction, and they pretty much led the field in the genre. So
Mm-hmm.
then at that point, I started reading, like I said, popular books, and then that, like I said, representation is what led me to more independent and black authors, because there wasn't a lot of traditionally published black authors that
Yeah.
were writing meaningful stuff or things that I could relate to. Like I
Yeah.
said, with the Donald Goins and things like that, those were things I could relate to because that's how I grew up. That's what I seen
Yeah.
growing up. Yeah, it was traumatizing, but I learned through that how to be a stronger person.
Mm. Do you prioritize black authors, indie creatives, or read diversely across genres? Like, what drives your book choices?
I started out diversely, but now I can honestly admit it's more black authors. And since I did my toe in independent authors, it's definitely independent black authors.
Mm. What
Definitely
does
independent black authors. Because as an entrepreneur, I realized the struggle and the journey. And like I said, representation is big. So when you think about what an independent author represents, it's same as mine. So let me
yeah,
support you the same way I would ask someone else to support me. Plus, their books are sometimes better than the traditionally published ones, because,
absolutely.
like Hollywood, they got to follow a script. So, yeah, do you, be you, and write what you feel is best and put it on paper. And don't let
Yeah,
anyone censor you or hold you back from having a powerful pen.
yeah. So, what does support look like to you? Like, not likes and views, not that, but actual community, a real tribe, people who show up. What does that look like to you?
That is a good question. Oh, I never thought about it. um, and I guess the reason I never thought about it is because I try to give all of myself when I give support and when I give
Mm-hmm.
loyalty. And I guess I never looked at it as it should be reciprocated. I guess I don't look for reciprocation.
Mm-hmm.
I more look to what can I do to, because I know me, when I get a like or I get a comment, okay, what did they say? So I want to give that to people because I know the feeling I get when I see those.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. It's not about the likes and the comments. It's just how you feel when you get those. So
Yeah.
I want to give that same feeling to other people. Or if I'm in live and someone sends me a gift and it's like, yes, I want to give other people that feeling. So to me,
Mm.
it's more about the giving than it is the reciprocation.
But you have to, and I say that they say it to me as well. But you have to have a tribe that can have your back, because not every day is a good day. Not
Yes.
every day is a great literary, I read a good book day. A slump
Yes.
may not always mean is because I can't find a book to read. A slump may be a mental block. So you
Yes.
got to have your tribe and your community that you trust wholeheartedly to help you get out of that slump, or that day you just feeling like shit, and you see other
Mm,
people there, they might say, why you look so mad? But then your tribe will be like, he okay, he good,
gotcha. I
next
agree.
subject.
I agree. Well,
So
I feel like if you are authentic and you stay authentic and true to yourself, people
mhm,
gravitate to that, and that vibe finds that vibe. After, like I said, after reading The Alchemist, I truly believe in frequencies and
mhm,
vibes and energy and things like that. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to be some weeds that pop up,
mhm,
because there
mhm,
always is, and there's
mhm.
always people that have ulterior motives that pop up. But authentic's going to find authentic. Good energy is going to find good energy. Good vibes going to find good vibes. And I'm so grateful that when I dipped my toe into the TikTok world, I found the community that I found,
Yeah,
because it's been nothing but love from day one, and
yeah,
that's exactly what I was looking for. So I felt like I joined at the right time,
yeah.
and I was led at the right time, because everything seems to just has been falling into place.
I just think that when people say you have to have discernment, sometimes roots are not all the way in the ground. They just look like they in the ground, and they fall in line with the other roots that are deeply embedded. But then they're the shallow roots that are there for the particular moment, and you can still pull them out real easily, and people don't see that. So and it takes time for the real roots to push them out. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I've learned from the book community. Be careful of those shallow roots. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some roots in there that look like they with the crew, but they really shallow and have alternative motives. The same.
But I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be real with you, and more people need to learn this. Some of the best discerners are people that can find things out or figure things out as Black women. So
Mm.
you gotta respect when a Black woman start giving people space or start saying, I don't really know about, because they don't be rude about it. They just like, I don't really know. Okay,
I
or
go
yeah,
ghost in a heartbeat.
okay, or it's those, just give you
Or
that.
I go ghost or I go quiet. It's one of the two. I go ghost or I go quiet.
So you got to pay attention to those signs, and like I said, being big in energy right now, I really try to pay attention to those signs. When people kind of like, yeah, oh, so you talk to, okay,
I'm like, take it the way you want to take it. Fuck you. Um, so, what's something you love about the book community so far, and something that you might be side eyeing, like, nigga?
um, the part that I love is the group of ladies I met when I joined.
Mm,
The part that I side eye are the ones I feel like you said have an ulterior motive when they're in
mm,
this community, or would look at me different because I decided to kind of just do independent at this moment.
mm,
Like, man, that's not gonna make you grow. I don't care what's gonna make me grow.
mm,
Man, that's not gonna. I don't care. This is the environment I want to dip my toe in. This is where I feel is best for me at this time. This is where I feel at home. So I'm gonna be here, and this is what I'm gonna do. I don't mind going against the grain. I'm not one
yeah,
to jump on a bandwagon. I can care less. I mean, Keith
yeah,
is gonna be Keith,
yeah.
and no one's gonna deter me from being myself.
Now,
And I love my wife to death, but not even my wife.
now, let's dive deeper.
Uh oh.
So recently, rapper Jules Santana said people shouldn't worry about reading because we can just listen to books now. As a black man in a lineage where our ancestors were legally prohibited from reading from 1740 to like 1865, and literary laws like the Nate Turner Rebellion was one step in 1831, the segregation and desegregation 1964. How do
Mm.
you process statements like that?
Um, to each his own. People
Mm,
are how can I say this? For one, I don't hold what he says with a grain of salt.
mm-hmm.
He's not a
But what about the
representative of
youth that sees this famous rapper? Because Nick Cannon even
this.
said in that
This
same
is
interview, he said he would rather his son or daughter be a bully than be bullied.
mm, mm,
So what
mm.
do you take from that as a
As
black male in literacy and content creation and the bookish space?
okay, as a man that has raised a son
Mm-hmm.
that is now in his first year at college at
Mm-hmm.
a HBCU, Savannah State University, um, I felt like you are not someone, or I teach him, rappers are not to be used as a role model, different things like that. I feel like it's better to lead by example than run your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you want someone to really learn a lesson, show them. Like for
Mm-hmm.
me, that was a big thing with starting my business. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to show my son that no matter what age you are, or who you are, or your ethnicity, or anything, if you put your mind to something and you go 10 toes in,
Mm-hmm.
even if you got to go through the mud, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
It can be done.
Mm-hmm.
You may not have support. You may not have everybody that agree with you. People aren't going to see your dream. You have to see it. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like as a man that teaches a son, I know I can't force him to not look at rappers or different things like that, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I can give him an example of what a man should be or what a man should be doing. That was
Mm-hmm.
another big thing on reading for me, was showing my son, hey, I got a book. I'm opening a book. Hey, forget TV. Let's grow our minds. And people died so we could be able to read books. I'm explaining that to him. I'm showing him this. Like he's at a HBCU. Your blackness is important, and
Mm-hmm.
live and be happy with your blackness. Don't let someone that's trying to be commercial
Mm-hmm.
tell you how to dictate and live your life when they're not even trying to live like a black man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be a bully over showing love, I mean, how can you still say you're a Christian at that point, or you're religious, or you believe in God, or you believe in any religion if you're teaching people to hate versus
Mm-hmm.
love?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I mean, I,
Mm.
this is my thing with rappers. And DMX is one of my favorite rappers, so I'm not gonna say I don't like rap. I mean, I
Oh,
love
because he
rap.
was prolific. That's why.
Yes, yes,
Him and Tupac were prolific. I don't care what nobody
yes,
says.
yes. And that's my
Uh,
thing. And they showed emotion,
Gangstar,
and they showed true emotion. And that's, if you're gonna look at a rapper, let's look at these rappers.
Gangstar, Tupac, even Biggie, motherfucking, KRS-One,
Yes.
um, uh, a lot of these rappers were prolific, because they
So,
were speaking
and
blackness,
that's why
black
I say,
men.
yeah, and that's why I say those are the rappers I listen to. So to say what he said, I'm not checking for what he talking about.
He can't even fit his dentures in his mouth. He just needs to shut the hell up.
Exactly. I mean, it's so many. Just like there's so many other books, there's so many other artists that you could be listening to and paying attention to.
But
Because
I
I believe that. I'm sorry. I
no, go
believe
ahead.
that there's a lot of people that's out there that are black,
Hmm.
but they're not for the community. And
Yeah,
to me, I feel like as long as you're for the community, I don't care what you do, I don't care who you date, I don't care. I don't even care what your skin complexion is. Just be for the community.
yeah, yeah.
That's my main thing.
But this is my problem with this. He said that, and they already have these stereotypes on black men about reading, right? But then you say this, now you putting a stereotype on audiobooks
Mm.
because people have disabilities. Some people can only read have an audiobook reading to them because it computes in the brain logically
Hmm.
more so than them actually reading a physical book or a Kindle. So
I
here
agree.
you have this snaggletooth ass motherfucker that ain't had a hit since the fucking early 2000s, and he says we should not teach our children to read. We should just let them listen to audiobooks.
And see, I have nothing wrong with audiobooks,
I
and
love
that's what
audiobooks, but
and
not for
that's what
me, for
bothers me with
y'all.
that, with trying to see, and that gets back to what I'm saying, where you're trying to dictate what somebody else is doing, where you're
Mm-hmm.
saying you don't want nobody to dictate what you're doing. Well, why are
Mm-hmm.
you trying to dictate what someone else is doing when you don't want someone to dictate? It's that old saying of do what I say but don't do what I do. It just
And you know, his example was Mayweather didn't learn how to read. Mayweather did learn how to read when he learned that
yes.
people were stealing his money.
Yes.
Fantasia didn't know how to read, but she learned how to read because she realized people was going to take from her. You know, so it to me, when a black man says, I'm going to give you an easy way to beat the system, it usually comes with stipulations and consequences.
Well, let's see what he
And
says 10 years from now, because I guarantee his mind will be changed 10 years from now.
I don't know it will. I don't know if it will. I don't even know if it will. Because for one, just to come out your mouth and say young kids should not read, be taught literacy in freaking school, they should just listen to the books because it's easier. What type of shit is that? And then you take away from the audiobook community because now you're trying to say that audiobooks is the easy fix for people who just don't want to read books in elementary school and high school. What in the
and,
hell?
and and that goes back to being for the community and not being for the community. I mean, he thinks he's for the community, but no, he's really handicapping the community. So I mean, yeah, like I said, that's the difference between being for the community and just being in the community. And he's
But
just
then
in the
you
community.
have these little YN niggas that get up and they trying to find a quick fix. And I don't blame them. Honestly, I don't blame YNs for being YNs. I blame
Hmm.
the circumstances in which they are in. And I
Yes.
feel like when stupid motherfuckers like that get a mic, and it goes back to that real red pill shit. When they get a mic, they try to teach these young men to find an easy fix to avoid education. I'm not asking you to go all the way through college because you can get a trade and still be successful. You
Now
can have
I
a high
will.
school degree and still be successful.
Now I will
My,
say this. I will say this. Looking at the percentages versus when I was growing up to the kids that are my son's age,
mm,
there's a lot more fathers in the household. So I'm
yeah.
pretty sure that there's a lot more dads that are teaching these kids, hey, look, forget what he talking about. You know what I'm saying? This
Mm.
is what you, because you can't tell me that there's not more men reading than, I mean, I, let me say this. I've been in, like I said, I've been on Booktalk for a while, but I'm also have friends that are now, because of my influence, getting more into reading, and their
Mm-hmm.
sons are getting more into reading. Now, this is the thing that goes back to what I'm saying. You got to lead by example,
Mm-hmm.
and don't worry about what anybody else is doing. I mean, the people that are not supposed to be around, you're gonna fall off anyway if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So I feel like there needs to be more of us that are on the floor or right
Mm-hmm.
there in the community teaching these kids what they need to do versus them going to social media and trying to find an influence or a leader or a role model on social media. More of us need to be involved in our sons' lives or
Mm-hmm.
even in the community's life. That's why I said, that's why I coached for so many years. And when I coached, that football team, we're still friends. Me and a lot of the dads that coached that football team, like it was like six dads. that were
Mm,
married. Like all six of us are still married to this day. All six of us, all kids are starting going to college. A lot of them may be playing different sports or one of the
mm.
sports that we coached. But that right there was six role models. And you didn't need me. You could go talk to one of the other dads. Like I talked to a couple of the kids' sons that don't want to talk to their dad, so they call me or they'll text me. So I feel like we need more men that are out here doing that versus
Mm.
them going to social media, because none of those boys are going to social media looking for a role
I feel like we need more men, black men, but I need more black men in diverse groups. And when I say that, I
model.
mean I need men who are heterosexual, LGBTQI representation, non-religious, religious. You know, I need a diverse group of men to be able to um, and I just don't want to put it all on y'all because us as black women, we also need to do this as well. And that is
Yeah,
go.
but I agree
No, no,
that
no,
it
no.
does
Hear
need
me
to be more
out.
men.
Hear me out. I feel like we need to go into the community. We have spent so much time online building this community, right? Going to schools, going to centers, community centers, going to bookstores, inviting high school students, inviting because you know they always have those scholastic fairs and stuff like that. Invite going up to
Oh no,
school
I went to
saying,
him.
yeah,
I agree. I went to him.
going to the school and saying, instead of doing this scholastic fair for these books, hey, I'm part of Black Book Talk. Me and a group of my friends would love to have indie authors donate books for the scholastic fair for the kids to get type thing. That's where I see it, but that's just me. That's just my thing, you
Hold on.
know.
Let me write that down.
But I'm saying that's my thing. Like, yeah, it's funny sometimes, drama and all that shit, but we have so much power to ignore everything and just focus on the positive. And that is one of the most positive things I could ever think of when coming and saying, you know, we're going to go to this high school, we're going to go to this elementary school, and we're going to do a scholastic fair for indie authors that write YA books in all different genres, whether it's nonfiction or fiction, and let the kids actually talk to the authors in my city
That's a good
or,
idea. That's a good idea.
you
That's why
know,
I'm writing
so
that down. No, I really believe that's a great idea, and it's something that should be implemented. No complaints
that's
with me on that one.
that's that's where my head is. So why is reading literacy, comprehension, and access still a revolutionary act for Black people?
Um, because of our parents, and I believe because of generational. I don't want to call it ignorance, but
Mm.
not naivety. The just being novice, not really knowing, um, or not really caring. It's more about get this money and do what you got to do to get this money. Don't worry about find out what you got to do to get money, or find out what ways to make money as fast as you can, and just go do that. Get a job, retire, get a pension. It's
Yeah.
something that I feel that was instilled in us after slavery,
Mm.
that so many people were basically either trying to fit in or trying to be this, trying to live in the big house versus learning, okay, how did they get that house? What are they doing to maintain this? Like, how did they start that business? What are they doing to be able to make? I'm gonna be honest. When I, the reason I also went into entrepreneurship is I passed a mattress firm, and I'm like, people ain't buying mattresses every day. How is this
Mm.
business functioning and lasting every day? Because it's not gone anywhere for 5, 6 years.
Mm.
People ain't buying mattresses. Like, let me figure out that pattern, and let me
Mm.
figure out what I can do to do like that company's doing. Because come on, people ain't buying mattresses every day. How's mattress firm staying in business?
Well, just like I'm trying to see how Apple's staying in business, but hey, they're still here. Um, so what is your ultimate goal as a book content creator? Are you here to entertain, educate, or build something bigger than that?
Um, to start out, it was to entertain, Then I found out that my presence was bigger than that. My platform was bigger than that.
Mm,
So now it's to inform. And wherever the universe guides me and leads me, and wherever is meant for me to go, that's where I'm going to go.
mm,
But right now, I'm going to say it's more informative. I mean, I still like to have fun. That's just
mm,
part of my personality. And I'm going to have fun, crack jokes, everything like that. But I feel like it's more informative
mm,
because I want you to know these are good books. And the reason they're good books is because of the content that's inside of the book, not just the author or different things like that. Or you're going to benefit from some of the information I put out there. Yeah, I'm going to have fun. Yeah, I'm going to crack jokes. But I feel that books give you so much more for your soul
mm,
and put you so much more into real life situations that you don't have to go through personally, but you can learn from those experiences that you read in books. So
mhm.
I think that's why I want to say more informative, because a lot of the books I've read lately, yeah, they've been entertaining, they've been violent, they've been this, but what their personal traumas and what they were personally going through in the situations they were on and how they dealt with those situations was more of what I got out of the books than the story and a plot around it.
I think a lot of people, a lot of black people and white people, a lot of them say they can't see themselves in the characters, so they don't read black books, which is an oxymoron from the fact that we literally had to see ourselves in white books all the time, and we never complained about it. So then you have the opposite side of that, where you have black readers who read white authors and bash black authors and say, I
Mm,
can't read black authors because it's filled with trauma or struggle of, which is not a thing. Struggle of is not a thing. Everybody goes through problems in their relationships. That is not a
okay.
thing. But you have that flip side to it. I think that if we come to terms that there's a construct around Eurocentric beliefs, that we can kind of just stomp out a lot of shit. And
I, I believe it's and I hate to say this, but I believe it's some part of you hate your internal self
absolutely,
because I've read the
post
same
traumatic
books
slave
that they're
syndrome.
yeah, I've read some of the books that are just predominantly white characters, and they have some of the same traumas that I'm reading in these independent black author books. It's just they're having it on the country club, and at the country club where we're having it, and the projects are in our suburban home and things like that
Facts.
because of what we went through. But going to a school and dealing with, I guess, both races and also being around both races and being around kind of predominantly rich white people and middle class white people, I've learned that some of their trauma is way more messed up
Ten
than what
times.
I went through when I was going in my life. And a lot of them are on pills in high school and drinking from their parents' liquor cabinet every day and things like that. Like they're going through a lot more than what we feel we're going through in our everyday lives. Yeah, we broke, but we're not going through a lot of their mental trauma that they're going through in their
But
community.
but the thing about it is, you know how people try to portray books as like some black books like, oh, it's always talking about broken homes and stuff like that. See, this is where I say education is fundamental,
Yes.
because if you read only the first layer of it, you'll miss the underlying arc of it. Because even though there was trauma in that household from being broke, from dealing with circumstances in that particular area,
Mm-hmm.
there was a love
Yes.
that kept that family together, or
Yes.
kept a auntie making sure her niece was good, or kept her or the mother keeping her sons in order.
Yes.
People miss that part because they only looking at the surface level. And even though books are for enjoyment, you gotta have fucking context clues or something like that there, Einstein.
I
You
mean, I'm
got
with
to
you.
have it.
I'm with you, but do you know how many James Patterson books I've read where there were broken homes in those books
Hell
as well?
yeah.
And yeah, they had money, but they were still broken homes in those books. And I think that the bigger problem with that is people are scared of their own trauma. Like you said, the people that I think are running from that is they just felt some kind of way about their grandma, or they felt some kind of way about growing up in a bad neighborhood and things like that, instead of respecting it and learning that that is what made you the person that you are today. Those hard times
Exactly.
are why you are where you are today. That struggle is why you are where you are today. So read those books that have that in it and learn
Mm.
how those people overcame that, so that maybe one day you can overcome that. I think that, yes, it is mandatory for a lot of these people in these urban communities, or feel like they're the lesser communities, need to read some of these books to learn what did these people do to make it to that next level,
Mm-hmm.
where I have that representation to say, okay, well, they started a beauty salon. They weren't just a hairdresser. Like, they started their own salon. And a lot of times in these fiction books, they tell you how they did it. Hey, we went here and got a loan. We did this. We did a drive. We did those nuggets. A lot of times in those gems are in those books, because a lot of these authors are talking about what they did to get
Mm-hmm.
their book out versus what they did to start the business in the book. They're just
Yeah.
using a metaphor to show you these are the
Yeah.
steps we took to go to this next level. And I feel like, yes, that's why fiction is a good thing. I've learned a lot from fiction books, and I feel
But
like
that's
that's why more
also
people.
goes dives into the sexuality part. There are a lot of
Mm,
people afraid of their own sexuality and how they get turned on by things that are considered out of the norm. And so they will
I
say,
agree.
"Oh, I can't read this book because it has too much sex in it." But it actually is rooted in they are not comfortable in their own sexuality. They are not comfortable in embracing the fact they just don't like missionary. That's not always a thing. That they're scared to say, "Hey, dude, I need some head too." You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
my question then comes is, what is the norm? Like, who sets the norm?
But
Like, shouldn't the
this
norm
is
be what's good for you and what feels good for
but
you?
that's where that damn Eurocentric whitewashed societal Christian ethos comes in. Because a lot of times that people will embrace Christianity and then say, you cannot have sex this way. You can only do this with your husband. You cannot vicariously date people or just drop some dick or some cooch off to somebody for a one night stand. I think people have fall into that trap so much when they see it in books, they feel like they're being violated. They feel like it's disrespectful. So then you have people that will say, "Oh, it's too much sex in the book." You don't even understand what sex is. You don't understand what erotica is. You don't understand what being free is. A lot of people are locked in their own bodies sexually
Mm-hmm.
and they accept what is offered and not actually saying, I want more. So when I read a book, I don't care if it's contemporary or erotica. If I
Mm-hmm.
read a book and they're doing all type of crazy stuff in there, I am thrilled to see it.
Yes.
I am thrilled
Yes.
to see it because that is a freedom that is wasn't afforded to us as Black people. So when you
I agree with you so much, because what I did, I had to step away because I agree with you so much. I went and got a book
Mhm.
that I read, because I'm gonna say this: if you want to learn more about women, there are a lot of books out there for men to learn about women. I went and found this book that was written by women for women.
Mhm.
It's called "Come as You Are,"
Mhm.
and it's by Emily. I can't even get her last name out, but she's a PhD that studied women's bodies and things like that. So, if I wanted to understand women's bodies more, why not go to a book that's written by a woman for women to learn more about them? So, I agree with you 110% that if you want to learn more about something, I guarantee there's a book for it.
Mhm.
Just go out there and find it. So I
Hell.
agree. And if you feel like you're confused about your sexuality, explore some of these books that you think you may not ever have been into and see how it makes you feel inside. Like, reading these different books may make you feel a certain way on the inside, and you realize you like something that you didn't think that you would like. in life before. I mean, I'm with you
It's
110%. I think
crazy
we need to
because
explore more.
it's crazy because a lot of times women can tell other women, "You are beautiful. Your body is tea. That ass is acid."
Hmm.
A man cannot even say another man is handsome
Yes,
without
we can.
somebody saying
Yes, we
no.
can.
What?
Yes,
No,
we
no, no,
can. Let me
no.
tell you. Let me tell you. Let me
No,
tell
I'm
you
saying
why.
what society says when you say as a man in a crowd of other men and say, "Damn, you a handsome man,"
Hmm.
and then your boy is like, "What the fuck?" Us as women, when we say it, girl, yes, girl, yeah, she sure is.
I feel
I
like
don't.
it's the people you have around you. I feel like it's honestly the company you keep. And to me, if I feel like you can't appreciate another person, male, female, anything, another person, then you
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be around those people. Because you
Mm-hmm.
should be able to appreciate another person, and you should be able to cheer for another person, and you should be able to be happy for another person, no matter what their sex is, no matter what anything is. And that to me is just that goes back to that leading with love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Respect that person as a person.
Yeah. That's it. That's all. So my question is to you, Keith. Are there any literary events, festivals, book expos, or tours on your radar? And where can we see you? And do you think you would want to be a moderator for a panel one day?
Oh, guaranteed. I would love to be a moderator for a panel. Um, yes, there are a couple on my radar, and that's just the ones I found out from my community here on TikTok. I want to go to the Pajami Jam that's in Vegas. I want to go to the Pajami Jam. I didn't even start shopping for some pajamas, so
I'm
that lets you
dead.
know how much I want to go to that one.
I'm
But
dead.
I got to make sure my money's right. If I don't go to that one, I know Atlanta's having one in April.
You talking about the
Um,
Black Romance Festival?
yes, even though they said they were sold out, I keep hearing rumors about tickets coming out or going to a reseller. So I'm thinking about getting tickets for that. If I don't go to the one in Vegas, I'm going to the one in Denver. Guaranteed, I'm going to one of
You
those
going to the
events.
BDSM one?
I'm going to one of those events. Matter of fact, after reading this last book I read, I might need to go ahead and go in June.
That's because your ass went and read Enigma.
Woo! Woo! What I tell you, Yana, Yana, call your boy. Call your boy.
I'm dead.
Shoot, I
So
thought Symphony was my girl, boy. After reading about Yana, whoa, I don't
you are wild. You are wild. I told you gotta read AA not A list, but you got to read Darlene Cunningham's 12 play, and then you gotta listen to the audio book with A. Lewis and D. Lewis.
know.
Damn,
Okay,
God. Yeah, you got to, you might
okay,
not look at them the same, but
that's fine. That's fine.
I'm telling
Ain't
you,
nothing
you
wrong with Little
got
Smut. Ain't
to.
nothing wrong with Little Smut.
Little. I don't know about that. So,
Don't tell my mama. Don't tell my mama.
so if
Mama, if you watching this, I'm sorry.
you so stupid. So if a young black boy came to you right now and said, reading isn't for people like me, what would you tell him?
I actually just had this conversation last week with a 10-year-old, and
Mm,
I told him that if you want wisdom in life and if you want to grow and outsmart everybody in the room, start reading books.
mm,
If you want to be the smartest person in the room instead of the loudest person, start reading books. And
mm.
he was like, "What do you say?" I said, "Just listen to what I'm saying. Everybody that I know that read books were usually the smartest person in the room, but not the loudest." I
Yeah.
learned that from a quote by Nelson Mandela, and I know I'm getting it wrong, but it's more about reading books to learn how to be the smartest person in the room versus the loudest person in the room.
Mm,
And once you start to open your mind to reading books and soaking in that knowledge and learning something from everything that you do, you learn that it's better to be the smartest person in the room and not the loudest person. Sometimes the loudest person is usually the most ignorant person
Facts.
and the one you can't trust. So
Right.
it's nothing wrong with I heard a philosopher say that and I think it wasn't Plato. I can't remember who it was. But the philosopher said, if you want to be wise, learn that you know nothing.
Mm,
So I kind of live by I know nothing. So I'm an
mm.
open book. Teach me.
True, true. I mean, a lot of times we want the village to raise us, but we ain't even for the community. So how do you want the village to raise you? You know what I'm saying? So drop your social media handles, platforms, and where people can find you.
My Instagram is Keith's Book Corner, and that's corner with a K. My TikTok is Keith's Book Corner, and that's corner with a K. And my YouTube, which I plan on starting soon, is Keith's Book Corner with a K. The corner is with a K.
Okay, okay. So let me do your outro and we can get out of here. What?
The intro was so good. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hold it in for the outro. If y'all see a tear, hey, if y'all see a
Boy.
tear, hey, it's just real. Cause your outros be emotional. I ain't even gonna lie.
I write what I feel. You know what I'm saying? I write what I feel. All
So
right.
hold on, let me get ready.
I'm dead. I'm dead. All right. So, Keith, thank you for showing up and proving something the world pretends not to see. That black men read, black men analyze, black men critique, and black men build intellectual worlds that exist far beyond stereotypes. Your journey reminds us that literacy is legacy. That every time a black man picks up a book, he breaks a generational lie. You are not only consuming stories, you're rewriting the narrative about who belongs in this space. To everybody that is on this live and those that will see it on YouTube, representation matters. Visibility matters. And when black men stand inside literature, not just as characters, but as creators, as critiques, as critics, as collectors, as curators, the world gets richer. For follow Keith, support his platforms, share his content, and just understand books aren't just hobbies for us. They are rebellion, reflection, and resurrection. So, with that being said, we ask the questions in on Black Girl Book Talk because y'all are included with me. That literacy in this world may not be comfortable, but we want them to be uncomfortable and we want them to understand that we are necessary and we are honest about our opinions. So, as I always say, stay love, stay loud, and stay black on motherfucking purpose. See, it wasn't that bad.
Nah, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you.
It wasn't that bad. See? It wasn't that
No,
bad.
it was great. Like I said, it was great. It was great. I had a good time. I had a great time.
So make sure y'all follow Keith. He does go live sometimes. So make sure you follow him so you can get your notifications when he goes live. Because he does have good conversation and he has to post it to say I'm done often. If y'all have not gotten y'all tickets for the Boozy Book Tour, Pajama Jam is February 27th through March 1st. You can get your tickets at www.boozybooktour.com. You can also get your tickets for the BDSM in Denver, Colorado. That's June